consumer motivation and its influence to consumer behavior. From the motivations of your consumers to their perceptions of your brand, psychological influence affect consumer throughout the buying journey. Motivation is the driving force behind purchasing decisions, as consumers are actively seeking to satisfy needs. We need to know that whenever consumers make purchasing decisions, there are certain factors or there are certain variables, be it intrinsic or extrinsic, which influence them to make a purchasing decision. Whenever consumers are coming out to purchase a brand, there are some psychological or there are some issues to do with perceptions which influence them to go through the buying journey. So as marketers now, we need now to understand these things and have an appreciation of how the inner drive affects the way in which our consumers behave. We need to understand that the desire for a certain product or a service, it is motivated by or it is driven by certain elements. From the decision making process which we discussed earlier on in the class, the decision making process starts with the fact that a need or a want is identified, or consumers face identify a need. Most probably they say they are thirsty, they are hungry, they feel that they need to buy a new car. So we now need to understand what is it which is driving that need. Is it because that you saw an advert? Because there are some certain needs or some certain wants which are triggered by an advert. Is it that you saw your colleagues putting on a certain brand? Is it that you saw your colleagues driving a certain car? Then you become motivated now to want to purchase a certain product. So all these are issues to do with are you trying to avoid negative or achieve an outcome? What will be the outcome for a consumer to avoid? Consumption of a certain product. Most probably nowadays we have got issues to do with eating healthy food. Some consumers may not be in a position or may fail to buy your certain product because it is associated with certain components which are not most probably good for their health, like fat content, like high price, unclean clothes, unclean environment. All these issues are important to a marketer to understand. What is an outcome for a consumer to pursue? Most probably it's good taste. Let's now look into the types of needs. There are different types of needs which consumers may seek to fulfill. And these needs, they vary from one consumer to the other. A consumer who is living in Harare, and a consumer who is living in Mutare, and a consumer who is living in Zambia, a consumer who is living anywhere, their tastes, they differ, or their needs, they differ. So marketers now also need to have an appreciation that consumer needs, they vary from one place to another. We are now living in a globalized village where we are saying that you may be selling your products internationally, you may be selling your products globally. You need to have an appreciation now that consumer needs are not, they may be the same, but take into consideration the differences of our consumers. What I'm basically saying is marketers need to segment their market, understand their market based on certain segments, because the motivations in each segment differs. Maybe you are segmenting your products based on gender. You are segmenting your products based on age. You are segmenting your products based on geography. Why are you doing that? Because we are saying the needs of these customers, they differ. They are influenced by certain variables. They may be influenced by religion. They may be influenced by peer pressure. So you need to take into consideration all these different types. So relating to our discussion, we are going to focus with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think most of you have learned about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs in your motivation courses. You have learned about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs in management. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs is divided into 5 main components: the physiological needs, the safety needs, the esteem needs, and the self-actualization needs. Abraham Maslow was a psychologist who studied positive human qualities and the lives of exemplary people. Maslow created the hierarchy of needs and expressed his theories in his book, Motivation and Personality. Physiological needs. According to Maslow, breathing, food, water, sex, sleep. These are some of the needs which are basic for an individual to survive. And according to Maslow, he believed that once these needs are satisfied, the next need will be activated, which is safety. Once a consumer gets the physiological needs, the next level of the needs along the hierarchy will be activated, which is safety. And once these needs are satisfied, there comes the need for belonging. Once this need is satisfied, we will move on to the need for esteem. And then lastly, the need for self-actualization. And we are saying that we now need to apply the marketing aspects in this hierarchy of needs. How is this hierarchy of needs important to a marketer? It brings us now back to the main point which we talked about, that we may need to segment our customers because the needs differ from one person to another. We have got customers who are in this category, physiological needs. We have customers who are in this category. We have and when you are developing your products, most probably you have got a product range or a product lines. They are supposed to be segmented into these different components. Let us proceed so that I may try to bring clarity to our discussion. Maslow postulates that needs are hierarchical structured, and the needs law in hierarchy must be fulfilled before needs higher in the hierarchy. According to Maslow, the physiological needs such as hunger, thirst come first, followed by security needs, social needs, self-actualization needs, and finally the self-actualization. Maslow believed that once a person most probably gets shelter, gets food, he or she will think about safety. Let's try to most probably contextualize the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow believed that food is an important basic need which a person needs to survive. Let's say a person now have got a house, has got food. A person will now think about the security. Most probably, is it the security of your family, the security of your property? A person with basic needs may now need to go further, most probably to get some insurance. To insure, you now want to insure your vehicle, you now want to insure your property. Once that is done, you move to the next level. You now to satisfy your social needs, your affiliation. So let's now go further and highlight how these different aspects apply. The satisfaction or gratification of a lower order needs leads to activation of the next higher order needs in the hierarchy. This is the gratification or the activation principle. So basically, there are two principles which guide the Maslow's hierarchy of needs: the gratification principle and the deprivation or domination principle. The most deficient need is the most important need. A distinction is sometimes made between deficiency and growth needs. Needs for belongings, love, self-actualization are referred to as the growth needs or the secondary needs. The other deficient needs must be first satisfied, which are those low order needs as indicated. The safety needs include shelter, security, and protection. Threats such as terrorism, criminals, drunk drivers, disease, ailments, and simple human error jeopardize our health and safety. So we are saying that once the physiological needs are satisfied, the consumer will now move to this next level. Safety needs motivate the purchase of firearms and other protection devices, e.g., home security awareness systems, residents with the gated communities. Meaning to say, when you are selling your products which are related to the safety needs, when you are targeting your customers, you need to understand, according to Maslow, you need to target those customers who have most probably in a position they have got shelter, those basic needs are satisfied. Those should be your target for the safety needs. Most probably you are in a business which is selling home security systems. You are in real estate. Who are your target customers? Concerns of safety may also be the reason why consumers are non-users rather than users of safety products, certain products. Some consumers may not use certain products because the products are associated with certain safety issues. So marketers now need to understand most probably those negative behavior which motivate our consumers not to purchase our products. Remember, I indicated earlier on that when we are talking about motivation, there is positive and negative motivation. Marketers need to have an appreciation of these things. I gave an example here of the September 11 attack, and some people may now fear using aeroplanes because they are worried about their safety needs. Proliferation of internet and technology brought in another set of needs, protection of our computers. Let's say you are selling your products online. Consumers may be worried about their safety needs when they are operating online. Are we protected from online scams? They want a pleasurable shopping experience. They want safety. Are the safety concerns incorporated in your online platform? As fundamental as the safety needs, it is crucial to remind our consumers of this need. Once safety needs are satisfied, this is the need for belonging, recognition, and companionship, which we were discussing here. Let us now go to the next. The need for love, we have explained this. The self-esteem or the ego needs. Inwardly directed ego needs include self-esteem, achievement, uniqueness, and independence. This is the next level of need. We are saying that consumers will now seek uniqueness or independence, status and prestige. They now seek products which are associated with certain prestige. They may want products which are associated with certain uniqueness. It represents the normal human desire to be valued, validated by others through example, recognition of success. So this is according to Maslow as he moves up. Acceptance of this is the self-actualization. Unfortunately, progress is often disrupted by failure to meet the lower level needs. Life-changing events such as divorce, loss of job may cause an individual to fluctuate between the levels of the hierarchy. Maslow noted that only 1 in 100 people become fully self-actualized because our society rewards motivation primarily based on esteem, love, and social needs. And it is most probably difficult to reach the self-actualization stage. Motivational conflict and need priorities. Fulfilling one need comes at the expense of another need. Money spent on satisfying one need leaves less for the rest. The time allocated to one need means there is less time in fulfilling others. These trade-offs in our ability to satisfy various needs cause what we call motivational conflict. These are some of the issues which you may need to know as a marketer. That in as much as Maslow put the needs in a certain hierarchy, there is what is called motivational conflict. To such an extent that the needs of an individual may not be that hierarchical. Some consumers may be worried about the safety needs. Some consumers may be worried about the physiological needs, and they may spend much of their time doing that. And that is the reason why those critics of Maslow's hierarchy indicated that in as much as Maslow thought that the needs are hierarchical in nature, it cannot apply in certain cases. We have got some people who may want to go for holiday, self-actualization, when they don't have the physiological needs, the shelter or the home. We may have people who may want to pursue their education without those other needs. So you need to be aware of these motivational conflict issues and need the priorities. And based on the background, religion and other factors, priorities always differ. Motivational conflict can take one or of the three basic forms: approach, avoidance, or approach avoidance. When we are talking about approach occurs when a person must decide between two or more desirable alternatives. When you are comparing two different alternatives, e.g. like buying a furniture and buying a car. Avoidance involves between two or more desirable and undesirable alternatives, between cleaning a car or cleaning a yard. And we are saying all these alternatives, they influence the way in which influence consumer behavior. Approach avoidance exists when choosing a course of action that has got positive and negative consequences. Consumption of a cigarette leads to risk of having cancer. Resolving motivational conflict requires consumers to prioritize their needs. What is vital to one person may be trivial to the other person. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs said that some needs need to take precedence than the others. Sometimes consumers may ignore the low order needs in pursuit of higher order needs. Some consumers may go for self-actualization. So it is now important for marketers now to categorize, to understand the different motivations which are within our customers and tailor-make our products to suit the certain motive which is within an individual. Differences in the importance consumers attach to various needs ultimately affect how we evaluate products being considered for purchase and consumption. Difference in consumer needs leads to consumers to seek different products, e.g. cars. Someone may decide to go and purchase a car without the safety needs, may decide to go to self-actualization without the lower order needs. So it is now up to us as marketers to do our research so that we understand these different motivations which are within our consumers or which are in these different market segments. Because of these variations in consumer motivational priorities, marketers should find it useful to segment their markets along these lines with what we call benefit segmentation, which involves dividing consumers into different market segments based on benefits they seek. Tailor-make products to suit certain market. When we are talking about motivational intensity, it involves how far consumers are motivated to satisfy a particular need. Marketers need to know the importance or the intensity in which consumers are motivated to purchase a particular or to satisfy a particular need. It is important to note that cognition depends on the degree of discrepancy between one's current situation and the ideal situation. What is the intensity to fulfill a certain need? Once you know that, you are now in a position to target your customers properly. You are now in a position to go, most probably, if you realize that the intensity is low, you may now, to a marketer, you may now need to go and come up with promotions, with adverts, so that you increase the intensity. You motivate the consumer to move towards purchasing a certain product. As need deprivation increases, need recognition increases. And that is the reason why marketers always try to create messages, always try to create products so that they increase the intensity. They motivate consumers to purchase a certain product. Marketers will always want to associate their products with certain celebrities, with certain colors, with certain events, so that they increase the intensity, or they increase the intensity, because once the intensity is increased, they will trigger the buy button. Another aspect about motivational is through the concept of involvement. Involvement represents the degree to which an object or behavior is personally relevant. The most strongly motivated consumers are to satisfy their needs, the greater the involvement with the potential sources of need satisfaction. How are they involved in making a particular behavior or in satisfying a certain need? It is an important element which you need to take into consideration as a marketer. Involvement and motivational intensity are more important because they determine the amount of effort consumers exert when they try to satisfy the need. When we realize that our consumers are putting a little bit of effort, we may need now to bombard the consumers with adverts, to give them discount, to come up with promotions, so that the intensity of the motivation is increased. And as intensity and involvement increases, consumers try harder to fulfill the need. They become more attentive to relevant information. When you flight your adverts during the peak hour, consumers are motivated to go and purchase for the products. They are motivated to look for more information. They undertake more thinking and they respond to persuasive communication or to persuasive advertisements. They may want to search for information. And when they search for information, the information should be available on the internet. Most probably we have got what we call search engine optimization and search engine marketing. When our consumers are searching our products online, are they getting the products? The organic information which they get, is it relevant to what they want to know about the product? All these things are important. Marketing programs need to be created or to be crafted with consumer products involvement. What are the challenges of understanding consumer motivation? Consumer motivation needs a lot of research. Consumer motivation needs a lot of research. Don't assume that the reasons undermine a certain behavior are obvious. Don't use stereotype. Remember, I indicated that consumers are unique. Consumers need to be segmented. Markets need to be segmented. Product need to be segmented to suit a certain need. So don't use stereotypes. The obvious reason about consumers' behavior cannot give you the entire story. Move through the story with the consumers. Do your research. Understand the consumers better. Understand if it is online. Understand the consumer, the behavior, the online behavior. How are the consumers interacting with the product online? What are the issues which you need to improve so that you motivate the consumers to move towards a certain brand? Human beings are complex animals and they engage in behaviors for the reasons that are not transparent. It is now up to you as a marketer to get deeper into understanding these psychological issues about our consumers so that our products go and satisfy the needs and the wants. Motivation of buying and consuming a product can be surprisingly different. Understanding why people behave as they do is often challenging endeavor. Consumers may not disclose the main reason behind certain behaviors. Some consumers may behave in a certain manner because they are following. It's because of peer pressure. It's because of a certain religion. It's because of a certain belief. It is because of a certain background. So it is now about the marketer to understand all these things in full. Consumers may not feel so comfortable to divulge their behavior. People may distort to feel how much alcohol or milk they drink. So it is now up to the marketer to go and understand these issues, to do a lot of research, be it online and offline. Unconscious motivation. Consumers may not be aware of what really motivates their behavior. Most consumers want to explain their behavior in an intelligent way. What motivates consumer today may not be the one that motivates the consumer in future. Thereby, it is now important for marketers to go out there, understand the needs today, understand the needs tomorrow, be in a position to predict the future consumption patterns, the consumer behavior, the consumer needs of our customers. A change in consumer behavior can be good or bad news to a marketer. If you fail to understand or if you fail to know the changes in consumer behavior as a marketer, you may end up out of business. Important segment in this discussion. Marketers always seek to motivate their consumers by linking their products to certain needs. You link your product to prestige. You link your product to love. You link your product to safety. You link your product to leisure. You associate your products. That is the reason why you see some products are associated with golf. Some products are associated with soccer. Some products are associated with certain celebrities. Motivating with money. You create promotions. You come up with most probably coupons. You say buy 2 and get 1 for free. Providing other incentives, reducing the prices, providing premiums to your customers. You provide discounts. All those issues are done in order to motivate a consumer, to trigger a certain behavior in our customers. So whenever you see a discount being offered by a certain shop, it is because they want to motivate you to purchase more. Providing coupons, implementing loyalty programs, etc. Enhancing perceived risk to explain if there are certain perceived risks associated with your product. You reduce the perceived risk, like consumption of alcohol. They say it's excessive consumption of may be harmful to your health. In conclusion, we need now to know, why do people buy products? Consumers need to purchase and consume to satisfy certain needs. Those companies that understand consumer needs stand a greater chance of attracting and retaining customers. Customer motivation can be driven by a single need. Sometimes it is complex and it is fueled by multiple needs. So these are the important issues which you need to take into consideration when we are talking about motivation and consumer behavior.